question. Question what now? 4 or 5? 4. I had a child for this young man. He loves me and wants to marry me, but I don't love him that much to marry him. In fact, I don't want to marry anyone. But what do you advise, Pastor and Mrs. Mark? This young lady says she had a child for a man. That man loves her, but she does not love the man. And the man wants to marry her, and she does not want to marry the man. And in fact, she does not want to marry. What is your advice, Pastor and Mrs. Mark? I want to advise you from 4 dimensions. Number 1, you don't love the man, and you had a child for the man. How do we come about that? I'll come to that. It's mistake out of mistake. That kind of mistake that made you to. It's not easy to have a child, though. It takes work. That kind of mistake that you do the work and you have child. I'm being decent with my language. You enter into the work, you finish the work, come out. When you were doing the work, all those sweet language, we are using it. Come on, am I speaking to mature people? Yeah. No, I'm being truthful now. You use those language, I love you, and all the rest, and baby enter. Now baby came out. You are telling the young man you don't love him. You don't want to marry him. And in fact, it's not even only the man you don't want to marry. You don't want to marry. Number 1, something has happened that has made you don't want to settle down with any man. You have to forgive whatever man that has offended you, whatever thing that has wounded your heart. Because now the anger is not only at this young man that you have a child for. You said, in fact, you don't want to marry. Which means there is something you have against men, and maybe a man has offended you, and you have summarized the whole men that maybe they are like that. Number 1. Number 2, put into consideration your status as a woman in the future. There are some doors that can never open to you if you are not married. Am I making sense now? There are some status, some things you cannot enjoy if you are not married. Yes, at most you can get to a level, but there are some favor that even biblically speaking, you need to be married to get them. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3, you've made mistake. You have a child for this man. Some church will say they will not wed you, but biblically and morally speaking, you are in the right stand if you marry that young man. The mistake has been done. No man, in fact, if you marry another man, you are at most disposing yourself to more harm, because that man can use that child to talk against you in the future. So now you have open check for marriage. So use this as an opportunity to settle down with that man. If the church where that man worship cannot wed the both of you, there are churches that will wed the both. Now this is marriage blessing. It's no longer complete wedding. So they do a marriage blessing for you. They pay your bride price and you settle down. Number 3, finally, to this young lady. The name of your parents has been at stake, that you had child out of wedlock. Redeem the name of your mother. Redeem the name of your father by quickly accepting that proposal. Go and settle down. Work out your love with that man. Settle down with him. You can work out love. My wife said we grew in love, and we are still growing in love. We still misunderstand each other. You think we don't have fights sometimes? We have, and we misunderstand each other. At most, that night we settle it. We pray together, and it's settled. So whatever that young man did, settle each other, get your marriage blessing, and settle down. You need to add something to it. You are done. The next question.